Agriculture is at a crossroad. Conventional methods focus on improving seeds and increasing yields, but replicating an industrial process to an ecosystem is destroying biodiversity, polluting soils, and using an unsustainable amount of water. Conventional farms are racking up an estimated $10 billion in damage to ecosystems in the US every year. Farmland habitats account for a great percentage of our natural habitats. They should not be considered a negativity to migratory species in surrounding areas. Many farmers see the need for new practices in landscapes that intentionally include functional biodiversity in order to maintain ecosystem services. Ecosystem services that mimic natural processes, creating synergy among crops. Ecological agriculture is needed now more than ever. The ability to combine pest ecology, plant ecology, and soil ecology into a single management approach is proper agriculture. I came to Michael Fields Agricultural Institute, a research and education farm that uses conservative tillage, organic methods, and cover crops to restore ecological balance in their area. Some practices Michael Fields does is nothing new, and for good reason.
You know, this is the way that our grandparents farmed. This is the way that
Yeah,
people farmed
right.
for years. So we're actually just kind of going back to the old ways. And that's where we planted our melons, squash in here. But in between the rows, you see these nice lush areas. And this is actually a mix of clover, ryegrass, and alfalfa. And the clover is a nitrogen fixer, so is the alfalfa. So it's actually taking the nitrogen from the air and putting it into these little nodules on the roots. And then when the plant dies, it kind of releases it into the soil. So this is providing us fertilizer for the next year. We are trying to show people that you can slowly move into a less chemical-based system by using cover crops. So with the clovers and the vetches and the other nitrogen fixers, like field peas, you can add nitrogen to your soil without having to put chemical fertilizers on. And by growing cover crops and doing a no-till system, where you let the cover crops grow large, you come in and kind of like smush them down and kill them so it creates a nice mat, and then you plant into that. Now you have almost like a mulch on top of the soil, so it's keeping in moisture, it's helping in times of drought, it's adding organic material back to the soil, which will also improve the soil and help hold on to the moisture when you do have it. So, it's kind of a slow process, but people are starting to see their neighbors doing no-till. They're starting to see their neighbors putting in cover crops. They're seeing their neighbors getting better yields, and they think to themselves, "Oh, I can do that."
At Michael Fields, the research department wants to show conventional farmers that using cover crops will benefit their produce with science. Dr. Jim Studi, crop and research director at Michael Fields, oversees research that crosses the boundaries between conventional and organic agriculture and hopes to show soil conservation and higher corn efficiency through cover crops and no-till methods. His research is focused on evaluating the impact of green manures on corn yields. He recently conducted a 4-year study here representing the cause-effect cycles of legume cover crop performance on corn yields. He concluded that corn responded significantly to added legumes, averaging a 46% yield increase with clover interseeded. He concluded that approximately 70% of the maximum average corn yield can be obtained with no external inputs using just red clover. At first glance, Jim's research sounds unpromising. 70% of the maximum corn yield with no external inputs, and 46% yield increase while still using external nitrogen inputs. How is this going to promote biodiversity? Jim is showing conventional farmers that using cover crops like clover is a way to reduce external inputs, reduce total costs for farmers, and create positive net yields. For example, the lowest fertilizer price available is 37 cents per pound of nitrogen being sold by the ton. A 50-pound bag of red clover cost $80 and is worth 24 cents per pound of nitrogen. This is assuming clover produces 80 pounds of nitrogen per acre. And according to the nutrient application guidelines for Wisconsin, red clover can produce up to 141 pounds of nitrogen per acre. That's a lot of money farmers can save. Showing conventional farmers these numbers can be the trigger they need to farm with a cover crop like red clover. Red clover, a crop that increases soil aggregation, improves mycorrhizal diversity and abundance, and reduces soil erosion. A crop that can be seeded without tilling after the snow melts because the seeds will fall in between soil cracks left by frost. A crop that increases organic matter during grass clover crop rotations, important food resources for earthworm populations. A crop that can enhance caribids, rove beetles, and spider species diversity, arthropods that battle against unwanted pests. More than ever, farmers must revert to agroecological principles that create a more sustainable and secure global food system. Agricultural conservation will only happen by design, and mostly by cooperation. Now is not the time for shaming and finger-pointing at bad practice. It's the small things conventional farmers can transition to, like seed a red clover cover crop, that will bring positive impacts to the habitat they tend to.